See, now it works. Honestly,
Cool.
I don't know what I did, but anyway,
Yeah.
we're live. We're live. So men.
Yeah.
Men.
Yeah. I mean, like men, more like I instead of like an E, but it's fine.
But the proper pronunciation would be just purely men or min?
Min.
Min.
Yeah. Yeah. There you
That's
go. You got
interesting.
it. Yeah.
That's interesting. All right. First things first. What brings you to Latvia?
I'm traveling around Europe for 3 months, and I wanted to go to the places where it's not like somewhere that's not talked about as much. You know, I think especially like amongst the millennials, like my age, they all talk about Paris, London, and those places.
Fair enough.
So I wanted to go to somewhere that I've like never really explored before and never really seen in like social media and stuff like that. So I explored, like I looked at different countries when I was trying to pick like where to go. And you know, when I first flew in, I booked a one-way ticket to London, and I had like a gist of where I wanted to go, but it was never specific. So anyway, like 2 weeks after my start of traveling, I went to Hamburg because one of my really good friends lives there, and her dad recommended to go to Poland, so I went to Poland. And from Poland, I met people, and they said, you got to do the 3 Baltic countries. So I started from Vilnius, and now I'm here in Riga.
So you got your actually inspiration to come to Riga basically from a Polish dude?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I have ever recommended to somebody to go to Poland.
Really?
But I always say actually nice things about Poland.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's the best combination of the West and the East.
Yeah.
In many respects.
Yeah, I love Poland. I think I'm going back there again, like in 4 days.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It definitely sounds
Yeah.
good. So you're quite a long time, I guess, on the road then.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
How come?
Well, this is my summer break, and I'm in college, and I'm graduating December, and we have our break from May till August in the States, because I'm studying in the States right now. So I have a long time, but I thought I would just use all of it because I honestly don't know like when I'm gonna have this opportunity again, and it's pretty expensive to fly to Europe. So I thought once I'm here, I want to like get the most out of it and then go back.
Do you just then take the buses throughout Europe?
Mostly, yeah. Unless the flight is like crazy cheap. I don't really prefer to fly because the airport is always really far away from the city center, and I have to go through a security check, and I have like a really big backpack. So
full of drugs.
Yeah, full of drugs and good stuff. No, but
Well,
yeah.
did you go through the Czech Republic as well?
No.
Ah,
Yeah.
see, yeah.
Yeah.
Then just only the bus,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, as far as I've heard, the Czech Republic is run by Vietnamese people
Oh.
and full of ganja. I mean, it's not doesn't sound anything bad, right? But
Yeah. Okay.
So it's an interesting and full of beer, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think I'm gonna go there. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, usually tourists like it, though.
Really?
Well, it's you have to view it as a sort of one of the oldest cultures in Europe, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Because they are quite an old state.
Yeah.
With lots of culture, lots of history.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is just. I mean, the Vietnamese and all that is just a contemporary thing. But yeah, they have. I'm not sure how many castles they have, but I'm fairly convinced that they have the most castles per capita in Europe, or maybe in the world.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Because that region is full of castles.
Yeah.
And somehow they didn't really destroy them during the wars, or at least most of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, many people like it, and I think. Was it in either the Czech Republic or maybe even Poland? One dude told me about, I think it was a church full of human skulls.
Oh.
Just a little bit weird, but I think
that's cool,
either the Czech Republic or Poland. So actually, I think I should have or written not South Korea but USA then, right? You come from the USA.
I mean, I'm originally from South Korea.
So what does that mean actually?
That means I was born there. I have a South Korean passport. I have
All right.
South Korean parents. I was there till 10.
Hmm.
So, but I want to say like my identity as a person is definitely influenced like more of like the westernized culture, and that's kind of because I grew up like learning English. My mom was an English teacher, and she kind of brought that Western culture into me growing up. And when I was 10, I moved to Singapore. So I was there for 3 years. And I moved back to South Korea. And when I was 16, like turning 16, I went to the States. And I'm 20 right now. So I spent about like a little over 4 years in the States. So to be honest, I think I'm like from South Korea and the States.
All right. Do you plan to go back?
No,
South Korea?
No, I don't.
Really?
No.
What?
I love
Are your parents happy with that decision?
My dad, no. My mom, yes. So, I mean, I love South Korea, and that's the country that I'm from. But I think, I don't know. Like, I mean, I only live once, so I wanna be like everywhere. So I don't really plan to go back. Unless I see my family and stuff, but...
So your parents are still living in South Korea?
Yeah.
Then yeah, sounds like the old routine of going back for the holidays and then
Yeah, probably.
see you next year.
Yeah, I mean, my dad... So my parents, like, is currently in the process of, like, moving to the States.
Your dad?
Like, both of my parents.
Ah.
But, I don't know, it's like, it's complicated. It's like pending and whatever.
Do they need some, what are those? Not visas, but those like residence permits or something?
Yeah, like permanent residency. So they
Really?
need that, yeah. So, I mean, and I know that my dad, he loves Asian culture, He's more of like, he loves Asian food. He loves like the fact that everything is open till really late. In the States, everything closes fairly early.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they always say that Walmart is open 24/7.
Except Walmart. Like,
Alright.
my dad's not gonna go to Walmart and have fun. So like I'm talking about like bars or the restaurants or stuff like that.
So what is the time they usually close?
In the States? Depending on where, like suburbs, definitely like 9, 10, 11. I would say like 10 and 11, yeah. And
wow.
like, I mean, the street is very quiet, like at 10 or 11.
Is it supposed to be that, all right, now it's nighttime, no more drinking? So what do the people do then? They go to the bar. It closes at 11 p.m., right?
Some bar closes like that. Some bars are open till like 2, 3.
Yeah,
so
sounds reasonable.
Yeah, but I mean, in South Korea, the bars and clubs are like open till 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning.
Just because South Koreans like to party?
Yeah, I guess they love drinking. I mean, in the States.
What, really?
Yeah.
I thought Asian people cannot drink.
People love drinking. They have Asian flash, of course. Like, they get red. It's like a thing.
I somehow thought that it's just maybe for a bit they could drink, but I thought what people always say that Asians cannot really drink alcohol that much.
Asians. Okay.
I guess it might be too oversimplistic and too much of a generalization, but that's what I thought.
Really? I mean,
that the Asian cultures are not really big drinkers of alcohol, just because it's also not really compatible with them. And then I've heard of what was the Japanese beer?
Sake?
Yeah, that they drink it that a bit, but also not that much. Maybe I'm just totally misinformed. So you're saying South Koreans drink?
Oh yeah, it's
really?
a big. I mean, I really recommend you to go to South Korea one day. You'll see it's like
it's too far. I'm sorry, but it's too far.
Yeah, it's far, but when you get
Vilnius
a chance,
for me would be even quite far.
Okay,
right?
well, Well, in that case, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
Seoul
if
has to wait. No, Seoul
Yeah.
was the capital? Or
Yeah,
was
Seoul is. It still
and,
is.
and what was the city where the Olympic Games took place?
Pyeongchang.
And that's not a capital, right?
No.
Never been the
No,
capital.
it's never been.
So how
yeah.
come that was such an important city for the Olympics?
I think it's like the location of it that was very suitable for like the mountains and because you need the snow and
Right.
yeah. Seoul is a very, very compact city. So I mean it's impossible to like actually host a game that's like happening in the mountains there. So yeah.
How much do you follow the South Korea North Korea situation?
I follow like
Because now you're in the States, right?
Yeah.
And North Korea is almost every week in the news.
yeah.
For no apparent reason
Yeah.
whatsoever.
I mean, I guess people, I mean, trust me, like when I was first in the States, people don't know South Korea. Like people know North Korea and people know Kim Jong-un, but people don't know South Korea. And it was
Who is the most popular or most recognized person from South Korea? Because when you started talking like that, I somehow think, yeah, I know the dictator in the north, but
yeah,
in
exactly.
the south, I just know Samsung.
Yeah.
And all of those
I mean,
things. Yeah. Hyundai,
Samsung, Hyundai, yeah, like the those stuff.
but no person.
Yeah, like Psy used to be. Psy is
Gangnam
yeah,
Style?
the Gangnam Style guy. I mean, people know him.
Right.
But I mean, honestly, there's not many people that actually are like really like people recognize from South Korea. I don't think there are a lot of people unless they follow the news or whatever, but like generally they know Kim Jong-un, but that's it.
This might be a good actually strategy for you guys, right? So you don't have any cult personalities or you don't have too big celebrities, anything. You just are known in the world as, I guess, what would be the proper word? Like productive people. Right?
I mean,
because South Korea nowadays is all over in all industries, I guess. At least technology-wise.
Yeah, I mean, K-pop is a really big thing, which is like called the Korean pop. So it's really different compared to like the traditional like singers and dancers in like the States where most pop song comes from. But so K-pop basically is like they form a group and they perform, and actually this singing group called BTS won the Billboard Awards and they've been on the Ellen Show. So I think in South Korea, before I came to the States, you know, South Koreans were really, really proud of the fact that K-pop is like really popular. It's everywhere. I mean, K-pop is definitely like really big in Asia. You know, like in Asia, inside Asia, like Korea is definitely like the trendsetter, you know, and that's kind of the country that people like want to go and they follow their fashion, beauty and things like that, but not worldwide. But Korea is kind of getting there. It's getting bigger. So I hope as a South Korean myself, one day like more and more Korean products will be recognized, like Korean beauty will be recognized, because now there's just very like a very niche market for South Korean like products or music and stuff, but I hope it'll kind of grow.
Well, if it's in Korean, then it's quite a limited market, right?
Right. So I think like.
Or do they? Well, actually, Psy did it in English, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's not a problem.
Yeah, and I realized that like in Europe when I went to like cosmetic stores, they had a couple of like Korean face masks because.
You mean just a face mask product from Korea?
Yeah, but it had like English on there, so. I'm sure if they export it, they'll translate it into English. So, yeah.
So what would you be? Well, what are you studying actually, or what are you doing in America?
So I'm studying marketing and technology system. So.
Sounds quite international. Well, well, at least it could be.
Yeah, I mean, I love marketing. I love my business school. It's a very like they have a great program, they have great faculty, and they really kind of prepare us for the future ahead of us, I guess. But I love marketing specifically because I hate being like limited, and I like to do like a lot of different things, and being a marketing major, I was able to do like a lot of things. I was able to learn a lot of things, and I love talking, so it really kind of gives me
That helps, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely gives me the platform to do so. So I like it. Yeah.
So where is it, the school?
So it's in Indiana.
Where is it? I'm not
It's like the south of, do you know Chicago, Illinois?
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like south of Chicago.
So you're on no access to the oceans whatsoever.
Oh
right?
no, yeah. So the seafood is awful. The sushi is awful. I mean, it's
How
okay.
how do you tell the quality or the?
I
Because
mean,
I've tasted many times sushi.
yeah.
Always seems
All
the
the
same.
same?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe it's just
like,
a Latvian thing. I'm not sure.
I mean, you just like eat it, and then you know if like the fish is like fresh. I mean, I'm not a huge, like, I'm not a food critic, so I personally feel like it's not that bad, but it's one of those things where like people from out of state is always criticizing on the quality of sushi. Like people from like New York or California or even like DC, like my friends, they're always like, "Oh my god, the sushi is so bad here."
Specifically in Indiana.
I mean, I guess they only say it because they go to school in Indiana and they have
Mhm.
access to the sushi. I'm not sure if they've actually tried sushi from like Arizona where there's no ocean too, but I'm not sure.
I think I've heard of the South Korean dish. Is it kimchi?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's becoming quite popular in America, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's like
So there you have your first marketable product, like
yeah,
kimchi.
yeah.
But it's sauerkraut, right?
It's like, yeah, it's like sauerkraut if you think about it, but like more spices. It's definitely spicy. And there's like a little more fermented taste. So some people prefer to eat it like very, very not fermented. Some people prefer like super fermented where it has like this super tangy taste to it. So
Just pure sourness,
yeah, like and spiciness. And people like it.
spiciness as in
Yeah.
a pepper.
Yeah, so like pepper, like some people put, well, I don't think they like chili pepper powder.
Oh damn!
Yeah, like they put chili when they make it.
Cabbage with pepper.
So they have a
Ugh.
big cabbage and they salt
Crazy South Koreans, you.
it. Like they put so much salt and they like kind of massage the cabbage. If you think about it, it's like a big cabbage and they massage it with salt, and then after you massage it, the cabbage becomes like very like it loses all the like
And all the cabbageness.
yeah, like firmness, so it'll become like super slimy and stuff, and then you put all the chili pepper paste and all these different spices and you put it in a container and you keep it there for a while and then you eat it afterwards.
So was it started simply because people didn't have refrigeration and stuff like that? Because
Yeah.
at least in Europe it was the
Yeah,
case, right?
like so they stored it underground. Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, the pepper thing sounds a bit crazy, but hey, if you guys like it, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's either like they love it or hate it. So,
So, in a way, I think the health food movement brought kimchi to America,
yeah,
and-
yeah.
and nowadays they just go totally crazy with it.
Yeah.
Probably thousands of recipes
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
do something.
All kinds of like fusion and Americanized Korean food. I mean, I personally always go for the authentic one because that's what I prefer. But I think it's a great movement that a lot of people are kind of like combining like the American food or even like Mexican food. Like kimchi taco is like a really big thing, like food truck. Yeah.
All right.
Or like burgers. I mean, I've seen all kinds of stuff, especially in like LA or New York.
You can probably put kimchi on everything, right?
Not like sweet stuff, not like dessert.
Oh,
But
by the
other
way,
than that,
speaking about interesting things to eat, was it South Korea that still has many pets? Well, pet animals as restaurant food?
dog.
Yeah. Or don't they eat cat as well?
No,
What?
not
Why?
cat. I don't know. No, but
'Cause
dog.
I always wondered how that tastes, because it should taste quite okay
I mean, they're.
if it's raised right.
I'm not sure. Honestly, I personally am really against it because I love dogs. But
Well, you probably are quite fond of chickens as well, but then again, when you see one in a restaurant,
yeah, I tried to
some
become a
sauce on it.
vegetarian, but that didn't work out. But anyway, I mean,
isn't it the case that most of the time, I think speaking about health food issues, right? I think most of the time people talk about Asia as being so vegetarian, but it's not really the case.
no,
Right?
people like don't. People,
Because the
it's not a
famous,
thing.
because the most famous, I guess, was the so-called China study,
Uh-huh.
right? And where the whole argument is, oh, look at this, such a big Asian population just eating plant foods, being so healthy.
No,
Yeah, it's
no,
just not the
it's not
case.
true. Yeah, I mean, I would say South Korea is probably one of the places where it'll be the hardest for you to become a vegetarian or live a vegetarian lifestyle, because there are a lot of vegetables, like you can eat a lot of different kinds of vegetables, but it's hard to find food that doesn't have meat in it, or like if you're vegan, that's like worse, like it's so hard.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
need to.
yeah.
South Koreans, do they have any problems when it comes to health?
No, not
Generally
really.
speaking.
Like generally, no. I mean, people have a very active lifestyle. I would say,
What?
yeah, yeah,
I thought South Korea is the one place in the world with fastest internet connection
yeah, right,
and the most gamers.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but
So it's
see,
not really an active
but-
lifestyle when you think about it.
okay,
But
well,
all right.
yeah, but
So who's the? Do you have any big sports people? South Korea?
yeah, well, like Park Ji-sung was the captain of Manchester United.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
but he retired.
all right.
And there is like Son Heung-min, who plays for, I think he plays for Arsenal. I'm not too sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Good enough.
And yeah, I think soccer is a really big thing.
I think
in Korea.
South Korea, or was it China? I'm not sure. Did South Korea have a hurdle runner? Quite a fast hurdle runner? Or was it China? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I mean,
Alright.
I think South Korea
Maybe
does
it's
very
China.
well on like Winter Olympics.
Do they?
Yeah, yeah. We
With
won
what?
like a lot of like speed skating and
really?
mhm.
I
Yeah.
thought the Dutch are the best at it.
I don't know.
I thought the Dutch, the
Maybe South
yeah,
Koreans are
where they
after.
have the weird overalls, right?
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the big
Yeah,
skates.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought the Dutch were the badasses of that sport.
Maybe, I'm not sure, but South Koreans are
Well,
pretty
maybe
good
yeah,
too.
maybe you guys compete with each other with the
Yeah.
Dutch. Who knows?
And I mean, Kim Yeona is like she was the number one figure skater until 4 years ago, because then she retired. So
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. But I think I want to say like Kim Yeona and Park Ji-sung are definitely like the most recognized, people worldwide, because they were like number one. I mean, Kim Yeona was like number one.
Well,
and
in
Park Ji-sung was the
those
captain.
sports, right?
Yeah, right.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
in that area.
So you
Yeah.
were saying about the active lifestyle. So what is the active lifestyle for a general
I mean,
South Korean?
I think it's kind of similar to like Europe.
I think we're quite lazy.
Really?
be honest.
I mean, okay, well, I lived in the States for so long, and compared to the States, you guys are so active.
So what is the biggest city in Indiana?
Indianapolis, that's
Indianapolis.
like the capital.
So they probably have NASCAR, right? Don't they? Because sounds like quite a NASCAR place.
I'm not sure.
I thought they had even a specific championship, the Indianapolis 500 or
The
something. like that?
500, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the racing game. Yeah. Yeah.
So NASCAR would be probably the one of the most popular sports in Indiana, right?
Yeah, I could say that.
But other than
yeah.
that, do they have many fast food joints?
in Indiana?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
of course. Of
Really?
course.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would have imagined that they just have NASCAR and lots of farms.
No.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
rural place.
I mean, they have a lot of farms, but if you drive through the farms, you'll see McDonald's next stop, KFC next stop,
So
Taco Bell next stop.
so are there many big people
Yeah,
in Indiana?
of course.
Really?
Of course, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So how come you are so slim? Still?
Because I'm young. I don't know.
4 years in.
I mean, trust me, like I gained so much weight when I first came to the States because I saw all the cereals and I was like, what? This is literally like Walmart. You know, you go to Walmart and people joke that people ride ECVs, like
What
all
is
these
an
fat
ECV?
people, like the electrical vehicle, you know,
Ah,
the
yeah, I know
the
that.
thingy. And all these fat people trying to like get like Pop-Tarts or like Ho-Hos and stuff like that.
That's really the case?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Not like
That's a bit
everywhere,
sad.
of course, but you could see like one or two people in those places. I mean, if you watch like American TV show, they always make fun of it, you know? So
So,
I think because the States is so big, and especially like places like Indiana, everything is so spread out, you know? So people just drive everywhere. I mean, it's really, really rare to see people walk around places. Like when I went to Iceland, I kind of had like a low-key like culture shock because Iceland is also like really spread apart, but people walk everywhere, you know, like even 40 minute, 50 minutes distance in the States.
They don't have anything to do over there. I
Well,
guess.
maybe. I don't know. Maybe they like to just walk around, see the nature. I'm not sure. But in the States, people definitely like drive all the time. I mean, it's so rare to see people even bike places. I mean, to begin with, like walk, never. I mean, if you live in like a very saturated city like San Francisco, New York, it's different. But in the suburbs in general, everybody just drives everywhere. And I mean, every place has a drive-through. Like a drugstore has a drive-through, pharmacy has a drive-through, bank, fast food places everywhere has a drive-through.
Sounds almost genius if you think about it.
I mean, if you think about it, it's very convenient, but
Yeah.
I believe that it's one of the reasons why obesity is a problem in the States.
Wasn't it glucose? I thought it was
Maybe.
the high fructose corn syrup. I thought
Yeah,
that
maybe
was the case.
that for sure. Yeah, I mean, of course, but
Because everybody likes sugar. It's just
Yeah.
that the synthetic sugar is not the best. Because I thought they always told that, for instance, if you take some sort of soda drink, in Europe it will have just water, sugar, and some flavors.
yeah,
And in America it will have sugar and a high fructose corn syrup, and then maybe
yeah, a
something
lot
else.
of
Because we differ. Europe is different when it comes to different additives. So I think most of the time, if you look at those types of foods, America does allow some types of artificial flavorings or additives that, for instance, Europe wouldn't allow. So I think it was the case that when you go to America and buy the same product, at least from the packaging, it's the same product as in Europe, it will probably have 2/3 other ingredients in it, right? So most of the time when people say, "Oh, I went to America," yeah, they almost always say, "Yeah, and I got, I don't know, let's say 10 kilos heavier,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
My nails started to grow much faster." lots of things. So I would guess it's because just they make a bit different ingredients, I guess, legal over
maybe,
there.
yeah. I mean, I heard like a lot of ingredients that are legal in the States is illegal in Europe. So
Legal in the States
Yeah,
and illegal
illegal
in
here.
the yeah. It's probably also in some ways vice versa, I guess. Probably there are some things that would be legal here but not in America.
Yeah, maybe.
But since you are
Sure.
marketing, what is your perception actually of when it comes to, let's say, food or different topics that might be, well, a bit sensitive? Because if you think about it, marketing is sort of the reason why people sometimes get, well, not necessarily educated, but that they don't make the
They
best
get brainwashed.
decisions.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is your perception?
You
And
know,
what do they teach you in school about that? I
So-
mean, about your, responsibility of sorts.
so I think that's very tricky, like a very tricky part, because marketing is definitely about, I mean, I can say that, I mean, it tries its best to like trick people and stuff, but
Persuade, right?
yeah, I
Persuasion.
mean, but I think there is like, I mean, we learn like business ethics too. So I think my school is like having a good balance between them.
Can you tell something about business ethics? What did you
So,
learn?
I mean, in business ethics, I had a wonderful professor who like wrote a lot of books about how business can be a benefit to the society. But we learn a lot about like, I mean, by the examples of like previous companies and how they reacted and stuff like that. So we learn about like McDonald's. We learn about there was this glue company that was in the States. It was an American company, but they had a factory in, oh, it's been like 2 years, so I forgot where, but somewhere in South America where it's like, you know, where they suffer from poverty, and they had a lot of kids on the street. And so basically these kids will buy the glue and they sniff it, so it's like they use it as drugs, which is
poor
like
people drugs.
yeah, but which is very unethical. But
What?
yeah, I mean,
What is unethical? Using drugs?
because
Come on. Man, you know
yeah,
better. It's funny when I would say, man, you know better. I would
Yeah.
actually tell your name, say your name.
yeah. Well, it's like min, so it's definitely different. It's like man and min.
So the emphasis was on the N.
Yes,
Men.
min. There you go.
Men.
Yeah, yeah,
Men. All
Yeah.
right, I got it.
yeah.
So what is unethical? That poor people are sniffing drugs?
No, I think it was the action. Well, what the company did wasn't unethical because all it did was build a factory, you know, and it just happened. Like the kids figured out that glue, you know, kick in and they become happy, whatever.
Yep.
But their reaction was unethical because they said that they were gonna try to put a stop to it, whatever, but they actually didn't. So
So it's a publicity then.
yeah.
Stunt.
So I mean, we learn about those things, and we kind of like we also do like role playing where like you're the CEO, there's always the stockholders and there's always the activists, you know, that's always fighting. So we always try to see both perspectives and things like that, which is very fun. But again, going back to marketing, I think before it was very easy for companies to kind of just put out like this very like exciting information out there, or like something that would trigger people or something that consumers want to hear and consumers would believe it. But I think now, because of all these access to the information, you have to be like real and you have to be honest as a marketer, because I think there is still a way to persuade the consumers by being a honest marketer if you have a great product that you believe in or a great service.
Do you have any, let's say, examples? Because I would imagine that, for instance, Apple would be one of the best representations of great marketing.
Yeah.
Right? But probably also something unethical about it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know their phone issues, right? Where they
You mean the production?
not like yeah, the production, and you know they actually admitted that after they release the new phone, they will actually decrease like the battery life of the previous ones.
Oh yeah, with the updates.
Yeah,
I guess,
and updates and whatever. And I
but
mean,
that's also marketing, right?
yeah, I mean,
Because it's not. Somebody once told me that there's a difference between selling, which is just trying to get you to actually buy the product, and marketing, which is actually planning out and having different kinds of strategies to actually have you do the particular thing you want as a company. So for instance, if I tweak my product in the way that you are more inclined to buy my new product, it's great marketing.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely.
And if they admit it, I mean, who could blame them if people still buy it, right?
Yeah,
Because people still would.
Yeah, people would.
Yeah, no, but I want a new phone anyway.
Yeah.
That's about
it. Yeah, I guess. But I think, yeah, I mean, I think there is definitely like a lot of aspect to marketing, like you mentioned. Like there's the PR. And I mean, now so many companies are just using like PR because they just have to take an action, but like a news company, like for instance like CNN or Fox would like write something about your company and you get that instant publicity. but it's like consumers are told from like not you specifically, but someone else is writing something about you, you know? So, I mean, a lot of companies are doing that, but, and a lot of people are doing those events, but I want to do like event marketing, or because I love traveling so much, I want to like eventually start a traveling agency.
Really?
And yeah.
Are you sure about it?
Yeah. I think it'll be really fun. I mean, you know, I feel like I'm still young and I have nothing to lose. I mean, I literally have nothing. Like, I don't have an asset. I don't have any asset.
What do your parents do? Do they have maybe a family business they
No,
want you to take over?
my parents actually retired, so they actually quit their job to travel.
What?
Yeah.
So South Koreans are able to actually retire and just travel around?
No, just my parents.
Just your parents?
Yeah.
So your mother was a teacher, right?
Yeah. And my dad worked for the government. Yeah.
Handsome salary then, huh?
I don't know. I mean, I would say that I was fortunate enough to like grow up, you know, like with a very good family, and I was like able to have the things that I wanted to.
Were you the only child?
No, I have two more siblings, so they're both younger than me. So they still have to go to college and stuff. So my dad has a lot of expenses. You know, kids are really expensive to raise.
Sort of.
So yeah.
And then they will come to America as well, or are they already there?
No, they're in South Korea, but I'm not sure if they would come to the States. I don't know, but
If you do great marketing for the American way of life.
maybe. Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I just want to like support them, and they can do whatever they want with their lives. So
Would you say that South Koreans are sort of, well, not necessarily tribal, but in a way that they stick together whenever they can?
yeah, like as in,
I mean,
like,
when you, for instance, find out that somebody you know in America is South Korean, do you feel a little bit of a more connected?
oh yeah, of course.
To South Korea, how many people do live in South Korea, approximately?
I think we have. Wow, I know the
Probably-
number in Korean, but
Wait, what? You know the number in Korean?
yeah, because I always hear it, but like now I have to like,
Translate it?
yeah.
Ah.
Wait, 40. I think it's 4 million. Wait, that's.
Well, for instance, Latvia has less than 2 million. I would guess that you are
I think
at
we'll
least
have
10 times more.
maybe 4. Wow. Wait, 1, 2, 3. So like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, and then so there's 8 zeros.
Sounds like it would be. So a million has 6,
Yeah.
right? So
So 40. Yeah.
well, if you say 8 zeros, it would mean 100 million, right? What? Really? That
No,
many?
I think that's too much.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be too much. All right, I'll just Wikipedia
Yeah, just
it.
Google it. Yeah.
So take a guess.
And you like Wikipedia?
Yeah, and
I love Wikipedia.
what is
too.
your guess? Come on,
I want to
don't be
say
shy.
4 million because
4 million. I'm saying 20
40,
million.
40. I say 40.
I'm saying then 60 million for a heck of it. So where is it? Oh, 50 million
Oh. Okay.
in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, 50 million people. On that, not that big.
It's really small. Yeah. Wait, it's only saying South Korea, right? Like South Korean population, not entire Korea. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Republic of Korea.
Yeah.
Interesting. Look at that. 57% religion unknown. What's up with that?
They probably just don't care. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, wait a second. Wouldn't South Korea have what is the closest one? Buddhism?
Historically, yeah, but not many people really.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
that. 15% Korean Buddhism.
Yeah. So it's like
See, that's Korean branding right there. No regular
it's
no regular
different
Buddhism.
than Buddhism. It's like called Yugo. So it's
Sounds like a game.
it's like a lifestyle, you know. It's like, yeah, it's like it's not like a god, but it's like your beliefs and your values.
It seems to me that many times Asian cultures have a more philosophical approach to religious or any spiritual things than
Yeah.
because in Europe it would be just either you believe a specific dogma, you maybe go to some ritualistic events. That's about it.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of philosophical approach because of like the people like throughout history who have like created it, and people believed it and stuff, and they weren't necessarily God. They were more like philosophers.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable. So what's your take on your neighbors? Give me your personal opinion.
I mean,
What do we do with them? Nuke them?
Oh no, probably not.
Send Trump over?
Maybe. I mean, isn't that what they're doing?
I'm not sure.
Or I don't know.
I think they wanted to do it, but
Yeah.
cancelled or
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know. They
delayed.
always- I mean, I think it's a great, like, what they're doing right now is definitely like really different compared to when I was in like elementary school.
By they, who do you mean?
Like North Korea.
And don't you have maybe some relatives down the line?
Yeah, because my grandma was alive during the war, and my grandma told me she has like a couple relatives, but not like direct relatives. So, and I remember when I was really young, I forget when exactly, but there was a date where they used to kind of like open the doors up and allow the families to meet, kind of like reunite for a short period of time. And I remember my grandma went there to meet her relatives. So.
And that was 50 years ago?
The war or the.
Well, the
meeting?
Meetup, yeah.
Like, I would say 15, 14. When I was young, so.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
It was in the 21st century?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, when I was young, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought they lived in isolation for the past, I don't know, 50 years.
They still try like a little bit, but I guess from a global perspective,
Interesting.
I guess it could be considered isolation because technically nothing was really done, you know, like there was no improvement for like reuniting and stuff like that, but they definitely like had like little things. I mean, North Korea was open for like tourism for their mountain, I think up till maybe like 10 years ago, and then they shut it again. So I think when I was young, South Koreans were able to go to North Korea when I was like really young.
But
not
probably
anymore.
to some just specific territories,
Right. Just like one area that was open, but not now, not even anymore.
Yeah.
But you guys can, right? I heard you guys can.
Who?
Like, I think Americans and Europeans. I met a couple of
Even
people.
even if I can,
You
I'm
won't
not
go?
planning to go.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
Yeah. Better not.
Because
Yeah.
I imagine just a lot of just hungry people over there.
Try to eat you.
Well, maybe. I think they should be pretty overall just small, right? They're not. They don't have any fast food
I
over
don't
there.
think so. I heard
I think they
mainly
still grow their own
potatoes.
potatoes and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
So.
Yeah. Not a good deal. Not a good deal in the 21st century.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's
So have you finished your studies?
no. I'm graduating in December.
Ah.
Yeah.
And then what?
And part of the reason I came to Europe is because I want to maybe like find a place that I want to like possibly live in.
Oh, well, then it's just probably big cities, right? London. Well, I guess London would be probably the
Yeah,
best.
but I don't know if I
Wasn't it?
like London.
Because of the weather?
No, the weather was
Because of
great
the
when I was
British?
there, but no, I love British. I love the accent, but I don't know. It's just like it doesn't click. You know, there's just like some like oh my god, like Poland. When I was in Poznan, and it just like clicked with me, and I loved it. I don't know.
What really
Yeah, I don't
clicked with
know.
you?
It's like I can't explain it. It's not like like I can't explain it like verbally, but it just clicks. It just like you love it. You love
Oh,
the
good for you.
vibe. You love the people. But London, I like it. It's
It's more international.
yeah. I mean, I totally get why people love London, and it's such a big tourism country. But it's like nothing special. I don't know. It's like a city.
So yeah, I guess what you're saying is Poland is more exotic to you than London.
In a way,
In a
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not? I mean, it has definitely better dairy.
Really? I don't know.
Sure,
Oh.
for sure. Wait a second. You said you wanted to go. What was it? Vegetarian?
Yeah, I tried, but
I tried.
no, it didn't work out. I was like, chicken? Okay. It was just hard to limit things, you know? I think it was really because I love vegetables and fruit. So I think I could easily like live off like vegetable, fruit, and tofu and stuff. But you know, if you want like a soup and they say there's chicken in there, but you just want the soup, but you can't have the soup because there's chicken in there, I think that's when it's really hard.
Well, veggie soup.
Yeah, but like chicken soup is better. I don't know. So that's why I'm not a vegetarian. But
So would you say that you are still, let's say, looking after your diet? In a sense that you are actually trying to avoid fast foods, junk.
I mean, no, not really. I mean, people in college were broke, so like McDonald's is the way to go. McDonald's in
It's-
Europe is kind of expensive.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
always fascinated me that McDonald's is for let's say cheap meals,
Yeah,
right over there
yeah.
because for
Here,
us,
McDonald's is fancy.
yeah,
So
exactly.
fancy.
You celebrated birthdays.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
with
It's
a
so
trip to McDonald's.
marketing. There you go. It's like,
I don't know. I don't know if it's marketing. It's just that here it's truly a restaurant,
Yeah,
right? In a
yeah.
sense that you have the pricing as a restaurant.
yeah.
But I guess over there it might be really cheaper than just going to the grocery store.
Honestly, yeah. I mean,
That's great. That's just
Yeah.
that is achievement
Yeah.
right there. That's the American dream.
Yeah. There you go. You can go. You can move to the States, go to McDonald's every day. I mean, Taco Bell is
Yeah,
really cheap too.
I would just try to avoid the fructose syrup. That would be one caveat for me.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's pretty interesting to see the differences, you know, like between the countries and stuff.
America is probably. How is it actually in Indiana? Do you see a lot of immigrants? Because
No.
overall, America should be just a melting pot of
Yeah.
different people, right?
Indiana, no.
Do they have accents in Indiana?
No, but there's some like I don't know the right term for it, but we call them like rednecks. You
In
know?
Indiana?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought Kentucky was the place.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
Indiana too, right?
Oh,
All the
cool.
South.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but compared to like Kentucky, people in Indiana have like no accents at all. I think in general, people in Indiana have like no accents. Yeah.
So you were, where was your place in Indiana? You were in Indianapolis? No.
No, I go to Indiana University, Bloomington. So like Bloomington, it's a town and it's basically a campus town.
Ah.
So we have our school and we have a couple high schools and we have a very small population. Who
What is a
actually,
very small population?
I have no idea. I don't
Well,
know.
an estimate?
Our school has.
Because I remember we had a delegation from China, I think, in one of our municipalities. And then they basically exchanged, their experiences and their thoughts about different things. And when it came to, all right, so yeah, I guess we are somewhat similar. We also are a very, very small municipality in our country. And then the difference was that here, the small municipality where they went was maybe 30,000 people.
Uh-huh.
And over there it was around 5 million people.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. I think it's definitely closer to like the 30,000 people aspect, but honestly, I don't know. I have no idea.
That's good. That's good.
It's a shame,
you don't
but I
have to
have
know
no
anything.
idea.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fine
Yeah.
enough.
I mean, I only care about my school. I don't care that much about the town. I love Bloomington. But yeah.
Really?
But
So egotistical.
no, but like I don't want to be in Indiana after I graduate.
How did you actually decide to go there in the first place?
Well, okay, this might sound like really weird, but my high school graduation gown was blue. It's like satin blue, and it was so ugly. So
Where is this going?
in Arizona. So I went to high school in Arizona.
All right.
And I don't know, I just and my high school is really small, so I really wanted to go to a big school. I really wanted to go to a school that had a big culture and a really big like sports team. And
How come that's an issue?
because when the school has sports, it's like an instant event that the whole campus kind of get together, and there's a lot of event that happen around the game. There's like tailgating, there's darting, there's parties, there's like, everything. The bars have things going on, stuff like that. Yeah, even though I wasn't 21, so I'm not 21 yet, so I wasn't able to go to the bars, but, well.
I do know, but do your parents know?
Yeah, they do. My dad was like, you can't drink until you're 21? So, because in South Korea it's 18.
Oh, I guess it's the default, right? In Latvia it's the same.
Yeah.
In Poland probably also.
Yeah.
But I think actually in Germany you can drink some liquors
16,
at
right?
16.
Yeah, that's so nice. Yeah. But yeah, so I saw like high school kids like drinking beers after school and stuff in Germany. But yeah, anyway, I loved my school, and I also like our school has a really good business school, so that's of course one of the reasons I picked it. So, and altogether, it seemed like the right school. And
to party and study marketing.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And okay, and also Arizona was like really, really hot, and because South Korea has 4 seasons, so of course people always want what they can't have, so I really wanted snow.
Wait a second, South Korea, shouldn't it have just quite a nice warm climate?
No, there's like 4 seasons, very, very diverse. Yeah, like spring, summer, fall, winter.
What are the other neighbors of you guys?
Japan, China, the South Asia, so like Malaysia, Indonesia.
Man, I thought they have all just tropical climate over
The
there.
South Asia is, but like Korea, well obviously China has all kinds of weather, but like Korea, Japan, they have like very clear like 4 seasons. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you wanted to go somewhere where you have snow?
Yeah. But now I
regret.
But I don't love it. Yeah, because it's so cold, and like, it's like, oh my god, do I go to class or do I just like skip? But every class is so expensive that I have to go.
What do you mean with expensive?
So, the tuition is really expensive. That's one of the things I really, really envy people in Europe, because, you get like education.
Well, not necessarily. You have some places where it's free.
Yeah.
Or almost free.
Mm-hmm.
But many places just tuition as usual.
Yeah.
It's just that comparatively, you could say it's more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if you look at the GDPs and the
that's
average
true.
salaries, it's just proportional.
Yeah.
So, for instance, some Germans who do not get into university in Germany, for whatever reason, they might come here, study, let's say, some medicine, a field of medicine, and then go back. So they got their degree, they got their profession. It wasn't that expensive when it comes to a German, and then you go off.
That's cool. Yeah, but
I guess so.
college in the States is really expensive, so
So what is really, really expensive?
So if you're in state, which means like, so we're just, well, okay, so private schools, if you go to private schools, they're, I'm talking like tuition plus living expenses and stuff that's on the official website. It's a little over 60,000
per year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
That's just too crazy.
60 to 70,000.
Because Americans are not that smart.
Yeah, exactly.
After all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if we're talking about in-state, so that's private schools. We're talking about in-state. It's specifically Indiana. I don't really know about other in-state schools. It's about $8,000, $9,000. That's just pure tuition. So you still need money to like eat, and you have to pay rent and stuff like that, you know?
Well, then it sounds, well, 8,000 per year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably 2-3 times more expensive than as in Latvia.
Yeah. But then wait, there's out of state, which is if you come from out of state, you have to pay that money. And especially in Indiana, our school is so much more expensive than other schools out of state tuition because there's so many people who come from Illinois. So they charge because they know that they'll make money. So I think for them it's about like $30,000, $35,000 pure tuition.
Is that for you?
No. For me, because I'm international,
Yeah.
I pay about...
So wait a second, out of state means just another state?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you go to like school in New York and you're from California, then you have to pay that.
All right.
And for me, for international students, it's $40,000 per year. A little less than 40,000.
Damn.
Plus living expenses, which they... So if you go to the official website of like international students on my school, it'll say about 48 something, so like 50,000 USD for 1 year.
So what's the average salary in South Korea then?
South Korea, it's not that high.
Yeah, it couldn't be possibly.
I would say like 3,000
per month?
Per month. Yeah.
In US dollars?
Yeah.
That's pretty high. It's pretty high.
You think?
No.
I think it's a little lower than that. I think like I overestimated it, but
I mean,
say,
the average in Latvia in dollars would be less than 1,000.
Oh, really? I mean, the GDP in South Korea is like high though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you are probably the most advanced Asian country ever.
For sure. Yeah.
I would guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting to hear that actually you come from South Korea and you go to America to study, to work, to live there, perhaps. Seems to me Americans should be going to South Korea. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
At least in the 21st century.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you still have, I don't know, Nickelodeon and MTV where you would need to go. Right?
That's true. Yeah.
Totally different ballgame.
Yeah. But I mean, the tuition is really expensive.
That's a crazy. lot of pressure, young lady.
Exactly. I mean,
for you to actually graduate.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough that my dad was going to pay for the tuition, you know, but a lot of my friends who are from the States, they have student loans. But I think in a sense that my dad kind of loaned me the money, you know. It's his money after all. So I hope I can pay back to him.
Well, depends if you like him.
I like him. I think a little bit. Yeah.
So now he's in South Korea, but he's coming to America, right? Or trying to get to America.
Yeah. But they're like waiting on it, so I don't know.
So you probably will graduate before he might arrive.
Oh yeah, that for sure. Yeah.
Oh, you know it already? I mean it's half a year still till December.
I mean, we've like had our hopes high, but it didn't work out. So I'm just kind of like not expecting anything from it. So I don't know. But I think my dad prefers like South Korea, just because of the language. You know, they don't really speak good English, so it's easier to be in a place that they can communicate.
Is it similar to any other Asian countries with their language?
No, I mean,
Well, North Korea probably speaks the same language, right?
Yeah, but it's like a little bit different. Yeah, so they have like different words for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a dialect. Yeah, for the most part. I think no, South Koreans like different than any other language. I would say like because like long time ago, Korea used to use the Chinese characters.
Chinese?
Yeah, the characters. So we still learn the characters in like elementary school and stuff.
You did?
Mm-hmm. I did too, like the Chinese characters.
So are they useful at all?
Yeah, because I speak Mandarin now, and when I was learning Mandarin, it was very useful because the meanings are still the same, even though they're pronounced differently. So I can recognize the words, so it was easier for me to understand and learn.
So one symbol could be actually a whole sentence or something like that?
No, one symbol would be like a word. So like human is wrote like this. So like one stroke and another stroke. That's human. Yeah. And Chinese characters comes from drawings, So a long time ago they drew on the wall, and then it kind of evolved into a very simple character, like a Chinese character.
Yeah.
And so this basically resembles a person standing. So that's
this?
why like if you write it, it's like
so
the head, the leg, Yeah, well, yeah. That's how they make it.
So what is the for man and for woman?
So man is like this and like this, and woman is like this.
Seems totally different.
Yeah. So anyway, like even though it's pronounced differently, it's the same meaning. So like this in Korean, it's like in.
Alright.
In Chinese, it's ren. So.
In Korean, in, and in Chinese,
it's ren.
R-E-N?
R-E-N. So ren.
Wait a second. What was the stereotype about? Was it about Chinese or was it about Japanese people?
Which
that they
one?
don't pronounce the word the letter L or R? It was the L, right? That they don't pronounce L. So my name would be Rauris, right? Was it the Chinese or was it the...
I think Chinese would pronounce your name as that. Yeah.
I think it's either Chinese or Japanese.
I think it's Chinese.
But it's not for Koreans, right?
Yeah.
You have L.
We have L, but we don't have R. So we can't say
really?
R.
So the opposite then.
Yeah. So if it's like, I don't know, if it's like
well,
like
you
Randall,
can.
if it's like Randall, they will be like Landall.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we don't have F. So it's like flower, they'll be like plower. Well, people try to say flower. Not many people just say plower, but there's no character for F. We don't have F or R.
So though they don't really train the sound.
Yeah,
F
yeah.
and R.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think a lot of people can pronounce F though. It's pretty easy, but R is very hard if you try to learn English when you're older.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most difficult sounds, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So.
Anyway, so what are your plans for the future, I guess, now? Because you basically want to graduate and then see what's up, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to limit myself as much as it sounds very optimistic. I really don't want to limit myself, and I just want to experience as much as I can, because I really believe that I only live once.
The sniff was like you were almost crying. I don't want to limit myself.
No. Yeah, it's like, yeah, and I want to do everything I can. There's a lot of things that I want to do long term, but short term, I want to start a business. So first, I have to get a job because I have to make money to invest in my business. So I wish to work for a company where, and even for companies, like I used to kind of have like a list of companies that I wanted to work for, but towards graduation, I'm more like, and the more kind of like recruiters I've met and the people, like I hear experiences who've worked in the companies. What kind of
recruiters?
So like really big companies, like in America, like Macy's is really big. It's kind of like
Wait a second. They go to your university just to.
Just to recruit you. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And
Man, America is such a weird place.
yeah, I mean capitalism.
Is it though? Is
Yeah.
it really?
Yeah.
It's some form of weird capitalism, I would say. I mean, come on. If you have a university that's 40 grand a year, so it's just so you can Google still when you work.
I know, right?
Yeah. You need to change that. You need to fix that.
I know. I mean.
You need to bring some sense into the American people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean.
You could do great marketing, make a great strategy, change it all over.
Yeah. I wish one day I could really do that and change it because, it's so, like, it's like in my business school, a lot of people come from like rich family, right? Like they're very like well off.
Oh, well, then you just need to make the right contact.
And then
so all you need, that's your business right there.
I mean, yeah, but
Sell
a
whatever.
lot of people get their jobs through their parents, or they just.
Well, I mean, probably your parents would also like to do that if they would be able to provide you with a business, for instance, you could inherit.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It's just understandable.
But I don't know. I think, like you said, it's really expensive.
No, like school. You said.
Yeah. Yeah. But.
So how much would be a similar education in South Korea? Do you know?
Yeah. So, average, I think it's about like $2,000 a semester. I think it could go as expensive as like maybe like 3,500 to 4,000 USD. And
did you ever consider of actually doing your education in South Korea rather than?
Because.
Wow, that's bold of you.
Yeah,
that's
I mean.
Ballsy.
Because. I know, I loved going to high school in the States, and I just wanted to stay here, and I wanted to, and coming from a different country and living in a totally different country, it really like opens up your mind, and it's not just like what you know, like on the book, like you're not only becoming like book smart, but you get to know so many other things, and you get to meet like so many different people. Of course, like if you go to school in South Korea, you can also meet a lot of different kinds of people, but I don't know, I really liked it. I really liked going to school, and so I thought, hey, I'll go to school in the States too. So
for you, it was basically you finished primary school in South Korea, right?
No, I went to Singapore when I was 3rd grade in primary school. So I finished my primary school in Singapore. So your parents
somehow decided for you to go outside of South Korea initially, right?
So my mom.
So they're the ones to blame then.
Yeah, I mean, my mom is like, I'm telling you, like, she loves English, and she.
Sounds suspicious to me. How come?
She's from a very small like island, and.
Wait, so South Korea has islands?
Yeah.
Really?
So she, was the oldest child of like 5 kids, and so she worked so hard herself, and she was so motivated to like go to college, because back then, my parents' age, college wasn't a necessity, so
nowadays it's also not a necessity, right?
They say that, but in South Korea society it kind of is. Like, you have to go to college to get a good job, as much as like
disciplined, driven people over there.
Yeah. But you have to have the degree. It's all about like the paper. They won't even like interview you if you don't go to a good school. And if you don't have the good grades, like you don't even get a chance. But anyway, so my mom really wanted me to, because like she worked so hard herself to learn English, and she just had a passion for education, so she kind of like made me speak English at home when I was young, and she was all about like the early education, you know, really benefits. So she was like, you can't use Korean at home. I had to use English.
Wow.
Yeah. So
What did your father think about that?
my dad was like, oh my God, that's too much. But my dad loved Chinese. So then my dad was like, you have to learn Chinese to me. So
I don't know why, but I kind of thought that the South Koreans would be at some I don't know, not really conflict, but still at some odds with the Chinese.
I mean,
Because
yeah.
it seems that all the neighbors with Chinese are somehow in conflict with them.
Yeah, because
Politically, culturally, socially.
Yeah. I mean, but my dad loves China. My dad loves China. My dad loves its culture. So
All right, so
yeah.
one parent who loves English so much and
one
the
parent
other
loves
who likes Chinese.
Yeah. So
Good for you, I guess.
I mean, and I never had a problem with it. I
So
loved it.
So you learned early English and Chinese.
Yeah. And then interesting story is the reason why I went to Singapore was because back then when I was 7 years old, English, like learning English, right now learning English is a necessity. Like everybody learns English, but
in South Korea.
But back then it was kind of like it was kind of like a privilege, you know, like you can learn, like everybody learns English in school, but not many people like hired an actual like native English speaker like to tutor you and stuff like that. And there was one lady in my neighborhood, her and then my mom, they got together and they're both very passionate about English. And like me and my friend, who was her daughter, like we did like this little tutoring session, and she was from Canada, and we would like do pronunciation, we would like learn, well, whatever. And then both of them decided that it's time for us to like go somewhere else and actually be in the environment of like English, where you can get the culture experience and and all of it, like verbal, written, whatever, education. So they found a boarding school in India, where it's like kind of like a girls' boarding school, and we wear like uniforms and stuff. I don't really know what kind of school it is, but they found it. And so my mom told my dad that she's gonna send me there. And my dad was like, but number one, your daughter's like 9, and number 2, it's India, where women's right is not as respected, and it was perceived to be like more dangerous, you know. And
it might be,
I don't know. And then it's like a boarding school, I don't know, in a foreign country. So then my dad was like, how about if you believe that living in a foreign country will enhance your child's life, how about we find a country and then you can go there. So they picked Singapore because they speak Mandarin and English. And so we went there.
I think I don't know anything about Singapore.
Yeah.
It's probably a small place.
It's a very, very small country. It's the size of Seoul.
And it probably was the place where you can get some big punishment for just chewing gum on the street.
Yeah.
Just crazy people.
Yeah, very clean.
People.
But I mean, yeah, but I love Singapore. And that's one of the countries.
It's basically a city, right?
Yeah, it's very small. Like on the weekends, we used to take the subway and we would go around the country, and we're like, oh my God, we're doing all over the country tour or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, and that's where I learned English and Chinese, and I came back to South Korea after 3 years. But I love Singapore. I think if I could pick a moment in my life that I could go back to, I would go back to that moment when I was in Singapore.
Really?
I loved it. Yeah.
Why?
I mean,
it doesn't sound that interesting. I mean,
it
Singapore.
was the happiest moment of my life because first, I loved my friends and I loved my teacher. I loved my school. I mean, I loved that you can take public transportation everywhere. I mean, like South Korea, yeah, you can too, but I don't know why. Oh, and they had like the 2-story buses
All right.
where they don't have in South Korea. So I was like, oh my God. And I would always go up to the second one and sit on the very front row so I can see everyone from the top. I don't know, like those small things. I was so happy, and I definitely got to like learn a lot about like their culture. Like Singapore is like very westernized. I would say it's the most westernized country in Asia.
Together with South Korea, right?
Yeah, but it's more westernized than South Korea because there's so many businessmen from foreign countries.
Isn't that the same in South Korea as well?
South Korea too, but I think like there's too much population in South Korea, and it's like kind of like too big to notice the diversity, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
I get it.
But in Singapore, it's so diverse because like everybody comes there. Like there's a big population of like Malaysian, Indonesian, Indians, Caucasians, and yeah, all kinds of people.
Do they make fun of other ethnicities?
I don't think so.
Really?
No.
What's the South Korean humor like?
Making fun of white people?
No, just generally speaking. Because usually, as far as I know, most people who have at least regional humor, they just make fun of their neighbors for any sorts of reasons.
Yeah, I mean, like.
So I mean, you have it easy, right? You have North Korea. It's probably so easy to make jokes about them all day long.
Yeah, I mean, we don't make jokes about the citizens of North Korea, but we do make jokes about the dictator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other types of jokes when it comes to your neighbors?
China.
So what about them?
So like this is like kind of like a degrading word, but
Come on.
yeah,
all in
but we
good
call them
spirits.
like 짱깨.
Danke.
Yeah, like
All right.
짱, so like double Z maybe, like 짱깨.
Danke.
Yeah.
All right. What does it mean?
So that means like.
Come on, say it. Say it.
That's what we call like the Chinese food.
Is it just so bad?
Like no, it's like the Koreanized Chinese food, which is like black bean noodles and like fried pork with like sweet and sour sauce, stuff like that. So we call them 짱깨, and we call the people 짱깨 too, and that's kind of like just making fun of them.
Because they are sweet sour porks?
I don't know. I'm not sure where the word come from, honestly. I didn't care enough to, because I don't really use that word. My boyfriend's a Chinese, and so I don't know. And you know, a lot of Korean people hate Chinese, like a lot.
Because of some past history? Events?
Not only that, but like just because of the behavior, like people perceive to.
I mean, if you would ask me, I would totally guess South Koreans are probably polite, quite well-mannered people. And then Chinese, you never know, maybe some monkeys in there as well. I would
I don't
go
know.
like that.
But
because there are so many.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, there are a lot of Chinese people who come to Korea because I mean, the economy of China has like changed so much, you know, and so as their lifestyle got better, so many people come to South Korea to travel, and they go to Seoul and they're so loud, and they're, I don't know, they're kind of like they're kind of rude. And because a lot of old people go to these places, like even in Europe, I've mainly seen like old groups of tourists who are from China, and they could be loud, and they could be not so mannered, and they could be kind of like cutting lines and stuff like that. And like my friend who goes to university in South Korea, she has like a Chinese roommate, and she was like saying how dirty they are and they never shower and whatever, and they kind of became a stereotype. And people say like in South Korea, you know, voice fishing.
What's that?
they scam you. It's like a scam call.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they're usually like the Chinese people who come to Korea and settle. So their Korean is very like awkward, but they're all usually Chinese. So they also kind of put them all together in a group and say that like they're scammers and they're dirty and they're loud and they're rude and whatever.
Yeah, but that would definitely be the thing. I would guess that they lack sophistication.
Yeah, but personally, I don't agree with it.
Oh, you're so politically correct.
No. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't agree with it because I've only met like very sophisticated Chinese people, but also because Chinese people who come to America to study are like so rich. They drive like Lamborghini, Mercedes and Audi is like base.
Yeah.
And they're all new cars too.
So funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's somehow, I mean, not to be judgmental, but it's so difficult to imagine a country where I think most of the people are quite, well, not poor, but still.
But they're like, yeah, they're.
That's not that well off.
Yeah.
And then some other people from there
They're
just
so
flaunting
rich.
with.
Like.
And it's a communist country,
Yeah.
supposedly.
It's mind blowing.
Ah.
Like, all these rich, they're so rich. Like, oh my, like.
Well, they still don't have probably Arab money. That's another echelon,
That's another
right?
level. Yeah. But I don't like my school. They don't have a lot of Arabics, so Indians and Chinese are the richest in my school.
Indians?
Indians are so rich too.
I thought Indians just go to study some IT things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They're pretty much that they have that covered, and Chinese. I always thought that Chinese who go abroad, they're just so disciplined that they want to get a degree to provide for their family, whatever. But if you say that they're just rich Chinese going abroad, so what's the point for them then?
There's no point. They just go because
Wow.
they do need a degree.
They don't. They have a Ferrari.
Yeah, but
What's the point of a
but
degree?
they gotta
then?
have that degree because they drive a Ferrari. They need a degree.
See, that's where you see that they haven't really earned that Ferrari.
Of course.
If they think they need a degree still.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, they have one, so they don't really
Yeah.
need anything
Yeah.
by that point.
And then they still go to like grad school after and stuff. So, yeah.
Weird times.
Yeah, but it's
So
very
anyway,
interesting.
What are your plans for your trip then? Is the next stop Estonia?
Yes. Do you recommend any place? Like
I'm
other than Tallinn?
I'm definitely not the best person to ask. I would say anything that's Estonian might be worth looking at.
Okay.
Right? So, no. After you cross the border, it's up to you.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know anything about Estonia other than that they have more technology in a sense, that they are more Western. I think they were the first country who introduced electronic voting for elections.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, different things, but more related to advancement in technology other than. And historically, I think in a way we would be similar, but then again, when I was last year in Estonia, in Tartu, yeah, I mean, it's quite common for them, for speaking about, let's say, warm weather and cold weather, it's quite common for them to have saunas in their homes, which is cool.
Yeah,
I like
that's
it.
nice.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a Finnish touch, right? Because Finns do that
Yeah.
a lot. So
Maybe because it's so close. I don't know.
so have you been to Finland?
Yeah.
You might see some similarities there
Cool.
with the people as
Okay.
well.
Yeah, but I'll go to Tallinn, and I really wanted to go to Russia.
Oh, you can go. It's just that probably many people will mistake you for a Kazakh woman or something like that.
Wait, what is that?
Kazakhstan. I'm only
Oh.
from Kazakhstan.
Why? Do I look like it?
For sure.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really look like specifically a Korean. It's just that Asian looking. Yeah, and I mean, I would say a third of Russia is Asian looking.
That's true. Yeah. Well.
And Kazakhstan would be the most Western country, I think, from those, because they have the most oil, right? So yeah, I would guess you. Let's just Google how a Kazakhstani woman looks. I would guess. Yeah.
Are they just tan? Because I got so tan since I got here.
There might be. I'm not really sure. All right. So, what's the holdup? All right. Let's just say Kazakhstani woman.
Oh, they do look Asian.
Well, these look Arab to me.
You think she doesn't look Asian?
She?
No, the girl
This?
next to it.
This?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
does. But it's definitely not what I expected actually.
They look like really Asian.
Yeah, I'm not trusting this. Well, let's just do a double check. Women in Kazakhstan, a whole Wikipedia page? What? Oh, it's about I guess social oppression.
Oh.
But I don't know if that's really a thing. Kazakhstan woman. Yeah, I guess they have more diversity than I previously thought. See, that's what I thought Kazakhstani women would be.
She looks Asian too, to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I expected, right? But it seems to me that they have more diversity than I.
Oh.
I'm so ignorant, right? But yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant, because I know a few Kazakhstani people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. See.
Yeah, they look Asian. Super.
So anyway, I mean, people could mistake you for being Russian, right? So when they start hitting on you in Russian, you just know what's up.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know.
Because Russian people don't really speak English at all.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But but I don't know, like, because right now is World Cup,
Right
season.
now, is
I
it?
mean, like, going towards it.
Oh.
So everything is really expensive, number one.
Where?
In Moscow is crazy expensive. I looked up the hostels and stuff.
Moscow, I guess, is always expensive, yeah.
But
I mean, why would you go to Moscow, right? If you want to see a big Russian city, go to St. Petersburg.
I mean, I want to go to St. Petersburg, but then I want to go to Moscow too. So no, you don't.
I mean, nothing to be really, really seen there, I guess.
Really?
I would say so. Well, look, you could go to see the Kremlin, so.
Well.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Whereas St. Petersburg is full of historical art and lots of things that's associated with not just Russian culture but European culture, right? It has a broader spectrum. Moscow, yeah, well, never been, so don't take my word for it, right? But yeah, it seems to me that's just full of big black Mercedes-Benz SUVs, and that's about it.
Okay, maybe. But I mean, even St. Petersburg is like more expensive now because I've like compared the prices and stuff. And also, like, usually if I go to Russia, I can travel without a visa for like 60 days or 90 days, I forget. But now I have to like register my residency, and apparently I have to pay extra money to the hostel for them to do that. So that'll be an extra cost for me, and a lot of like things like food and such might be more expensive. But also after that, I want to go back to like Poland maybe, or Ukraine. But I think it's kind of like hard because the bus doesn't tell me like which route they're going through, because I can't go to Belarus. I need a visa. Yeah, and I can only fly into Belarus to get a 5-day like visa, like traveling. 5-day travel allowance, but the flight is so expensive.
To Belarus? From where?
From Tallinn, I checked, it was 177. One way.
177?
Yeah.
Not that expensive,
But
right?
more expensive than what I've been like flying.
All right.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, what would you see in Belarus, right?
Exactly. Like I didn't want to go to Belarus either. No offense to if you like Belarus.
Well, I
But-
mean, I don't have anything against it, but it's
Yeah.
still. See, that's another thing, right? They have sort of an isolationist policy over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not working out that well.
Yeah, I know. And I don't want to go to a country that's like isolating. I don't know.
Well,
But-
usually, somehow, most guests that I have from Belarus,
Uh-huh.
they're very, very nice people.
I'm sure,
Very, very. But then again, I mean, they could be just quite enthusiastic to be outside,
of
right?
course.
To see
It's maybe
some
like
other
a
country.
like a group of people that's like that.
It might be the case, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but so I don't know what to do. I really want to go to St. Petersburg, but how long would you think I would need in St. Petersburg?
I wouldn't be able to tell at all. You know more about these things than I. You know more about what would be the right time, what would be the right place.
Oh,
I'm definitely not a cosmopolitan like you.
I don't know. I really have no idea. I don't know.
Well, it's just that, yeah, if you go to Russia, just be prepared to speak, or at least try to speak broken Russian. Right? Simply
Well.
because, well, in St. Petersburg it might not be that bad,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, other than that, it's just that they don't really pay attention to learning English at all. That's just another one of those things, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I was in Poland, people didn't speak English either.
Yeah, I guess that's because they are still a growing economy, quite big,
Yeah.
haven't adapted. Because, for instance, Germans, quite often they speak quite
yeah,
good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of generations and time.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Probably.
but I think in Russia they just don't really give a damn.
Yeah.
Just a,
Okay, I don't know. I really want to go to St. Petersburg, but I think I'll have to check if the bus doesn't pass Belarus. Then maybe I can go. But if not, I want to go back to Poland after Tallinn.
you need to pull one of those Icelandic moves and just walk.
Nope. I'll die. Well, no, I won't die. But I don't know. I would love to like hitchhike, but I haven't done that yet.
Get some tips from the Italian dudes.
Really? They hitchhike?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean that's.
Oh, the guys that were there?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you can talk to them about how to best get where you need to go.
I met a girl.
Or maybe not. Maybe they are so poor at it.
Maybe they go anywhere. I mean, why not?
Yeah, you need to talk to them.
But from June 19th, my friends are coming and my sister. So
From South Korea?
my younger sister's from South Korea, and my best friend from like middle school. She's like American, but she lives in South Korea. She's coming. Her
Well,
boyfriend's coming.
she's the opposite of you then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then one of my really good friend from college, university, is coming.
It's so weird. Where does it all fit in let's say in 20 years? Would you all guys be just living somewhere in the middle, or would it mean that you are living part-time South Korea, part-time America?
I don't know.
It's quite it's probably not that unique, but still it's quite rare
Yeah.
to see such combinations.
Yeah. I mean, my friend who's from the state, who's living in South Korea, will definitely go back to the States. And my college friend, she's from the States, so she'll probably be there. She wants to work for the embassy. So, and I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know where my sister's going to be. So,
You're 20 years old. Don't stress about it, I guess.
yeah, I mean, I'm just, I feel like if worst case, I hope this doesn't happen, but if I do a business and I lose everything, I'm just gonna travel.
Oh, you mean
Like,
if you have
go places.
enough residual income, so you can just travel around?
No,
Don't worry.
if I have no income, then I'm gonna travel.
Oh, wait a second. If you don't have a business, then you will just travel around?
Yeah, Because you know what I've learned? I always
Mm.
thought you need money to travel, but I learned that you don't while traveling.
Sounds like BS to me.
You think?
Of course.
But I've met people who travel without money. Like,
Oh well, don't get me wrong. Of course, I've met people who say, yeah, they are on such a budget that it's basically shoestring
mm-hmm.
everything. But then again, yeah, it's at least from those that I've seen, it's sort of a bum life.
Yeah,
It's a real vagabond life.
yeah.
So
it is.
it's not that charming, if you ask me.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with it, I guess.
Yeah,
But then again, have some decency, maybe,
of
right?
course. Yeah.
In the sense that here's the thing. Maybe you know you don't need to be rich, or you won't need to be rich to actually travel with style and comfort, because it should be the case that at some point it becomes really convenient,
mm-hmm.
really not cheap but affordable.
Yeah.
All of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the way to go, to have actually just the comfort
Yeah.
and of the affordability with it,
Yeah.
right?
For
But
sure.
but to have those type of, yeah, I hitchhiked and then I slept under the bridge type of
Yeah.
things.
Oh no, I won't sleep under the bridge.
Well, look,
No.
here's the thing. if you
No, I can make money though. You know, you can like do the what's it called, like work travel, like work
What?
stay.
Not sure what you mean.
So there's a thing where like there's like a website and they will like post like if it's a hostel in like England, for instance, they're looking for someone. So you work there for like 4
Yeah,
weeks.
it's usually free. They don't really pay you anything, right? It's just that they provide accommodation
Yeah,
and
but
some
like you stay there for
food.
for like free, and then you can like go on the street and then you can like do street performance. Wait, but in Poland, I saw this most like I never give money to street performances, but I saw this performance that I would totally give money to.
Hmm.
Basically, it's a girl. She's like the fairy godmother, you know, and she's like she painted herself like white. Her clothes are white. She spray painted like the hell out of her. And then she like holds her magic wand and she just like stays like a statue. And then she has a basket.
Hmm.
And when someone drops a coin, she like comes into life and she like does a magic spell and she talks. Isn't that so cool?
You need to go around more.
I thought it was cool.
Well, I'm not saying it's uncool.
I don't know. I think so far it was the most, I don't know. And it was like all the little girls who, I worked in Disney, so I adore those kind of stuff.
What you mean you worked in Disney?
Like I worked in Disney, like Disney World.
In Disney World?
Yeah, in Orlando.
What did you do?
I worked for their merchandising department. So sometimes I wear those costumes and I sell stuff.
Ah.
So it was like.
You mean you were like a Mickey Mouse or something like that?
No, I wasn't Mickey Mouse, but I was like.
No, who was the chick? Not Mickey Mouse, but Minnie Mouse?
Yeah, Minnie Mouse. Yeah.
You were Minnie Mouse?
No, I wasn't a Minnie Mouse,
Ah.
but yeah. Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse are really short. They're like 150 centimeters. They're tiny, like 145,
And what's your height?
173.
Giant.
Yeah. And anyway,
Is it unusual for a South Korean chick to be above 170?
I think it's unusual, but there's definitely like tall people. Like, I mean, like my friends' parents, they always tell me like, "Oh my God, you're so tall," because the stereotypical Asian girls are like really small. But I think South Korean people are really tall compared to like other Asian people.
Well fed.
I think so. Yeah, maybe. I mean, and jeans too. I don't know. I'm not sure. But
Come on, the genes are probably all the same, right?
maybe. I mean, yeah,
I mean,
but
you
like
are
my
all in
parents
the-
are tall. My whole family's tall. So maybe like my family specifically. But I'm not sure. But anyway, so I adore those kind of things. So I really liked that street performance.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah,
I'll do
sounds
that.
nice.
But you know what I'm saying is that's worst case scenario.
And best case scenario, you would have a business that provides you income to travel.
Yeah, that's best case scenario.
Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
Yeah.
All right. when you come around Latvia sometime soon, give me an update.
Of course.
How is it going? All right.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. 1.5 hours in, it's going strong.
Yeah. It's like really fun to talk to you.
Well, it's fun talking to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get every day the chance to have, I don't know, somebody who has been in at least 4 countries by the age of 10 or around like that. It's not really common. All right. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.